They found themselves in a situation where Naomi lost everything. She lost her husband, then she lost her 2 sons, and she was left with 2 daughters-in-law. And as they came to that point, Naomi said, well, it's time for me to go back home. Okay. To my land, to where I come from. See, when she left there following her husband. Her husband found themselves in a land that had went dry, so to speak. And as the land went dry, her husband took her up out of there, and they found the city of Moab. Mm-hmm. And over in Moab, they found that the Lord was feeding folk there. So he seemed better for his wife and himself and the children over in Moab. So when they got there, they was being taken care of. They began to set up, and we turned around, and in Moab, the 2 sons found 2 wives. So when they found the 2 wives, they walked with their mother. You know, a lot of folks don't get along with their mother-in-law. That's why I wanted to hold off on telling y'all that was my mother-in-law. Because I love my mother-in-law, and I can't put her, I loved her from the moment I met her. And I ain't gonna let nobody say nothing or do nothing to my mother-in-law. Because just as I watch over my mother, I watch over my mother-in-law. I love her just that much. And as they got to this point, they found themselves alone with their mother-in-law. So at that point, she felt like, I done lost everything. Everything looked like it's against me. The hand of God is turned against me. I'm going back home, and trust me, you all are welcome to go home. She begged them to go home. On 3 occasions, she tried to send them back home.
Yes, she did.
But she turned around and she began to talk with them, and as she began to try to get them to turn around, Oprah finally gave up. She hugged her and kissed her, and she went on home. But she told her, she said, well, go back to your land. Serve your God. Go back to your people, your mother, your family. Because I ain't got nothing else. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking to somebody today because you have to see more in a person than their flesh. Amen. When Pastor Van is standing here and he's leading the congregation, a lot of people turn away because they look at the flesh of a man. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna talk to him. But if you could see, just hold on a little while longer and pray and ask God, God, allow me to see the spirit of that man. Because we certainly will follow any man that's strong in stature, any man that looks like he just got it all together. We'll follow that man to the end. Even if he's taking us over the edge, we gonna follow that man. I know some of the women in here know what I'm talking about. You done follow somebody that wasn't worth following because he looked good. You know that thing that it looked good to you. But mama said, no, it ain't good for you. All we seen was the glitter of the gold. We didn't see underneath the glitter, the gold was 30 colors because it wasn't gold in the first place. So we began, and we look at the lesson and we say, well, Oprah didn't see what she really had. So Oprah hugged and kissed mama-in-law and said, well, you right, there ain't nothing, I can't get nothing else from you. Guys, you know how it is. When they can't get nothing else from you, it's time for them to go in. Oh, I done drained that well dry. It's time for me to ride on. Well, Ruth, on the other hand, because at that point, Oprah had made her choice. She said, I'm going back home. I'm going to go back and get what I can get because this flesh ain't satisfied yet. I ain't old yet. You know how we talk. I'm in the church, but I'm too young for this. I ain't ready to give up everything yet. That's that flesh holding you back. But when we realize that this is not a fleshly thing that we're living in, it's time for us to pull off the flesh. You know, yesterday, when you woke up this morning, you wasn't going to pick up the clothes you had on yesterday and slip them back on and go out the door. You got to be dressed for another day. This morning when we rose up, we wasn't coming to church the way we was. We was hanging out yesterday, so we had to change our clothes. So that was a choice you made this morning. You wasn't putting, I tell the church, wherever I go, don't keep putting on the same clothes.
No, that's right.
When you pull this flesh, when you begin to pull this flesh off, don't go back and get it. You know, I done turned away. The Lord took cigarettes out of my mouth. But I turned around and I'm going to go back and pick it up. Let's put on old clothes. When he done delivered you out of a situation, don't find yourself going back to the situation. Because that's putting on old clothes. And you know, we as a people, we look at it and we say, well, what is he? I know I can hear some people in this, and what is he talking about? But here I go right here to tell you that there's some women in here that took off. God took you and delivered you from this man that was beating on you, wasn't meaning you no good. Found your way away from this man and turn around and your flesh said, go back. So you run back and you put on that old clothes. Go back. Just to say, well, this man ain't even changed. But if he was going to change for your good, God would have never moved you from that man. So we found ourselves, we don't want to put on our old clothes. So we look at making that choice. And today, we have to make that choice.
Okay.
Which God we going to serve?
Yes.
I mean, God bless you right here, so you're with it. But as soon as he lets you go through some stuff, you leave. Thinking I don't get it. He blessed me, and I'm with it. But as soon as I go through something, I got to leave. Soon as he blessed me with the money to pay my bills, I'm with it.
Talk to him about it.
As soon as that note, that overdue payment sit there, that red bill sit there long enough, and it come close to due date for them to shut it off, we go to pay. Hold on, Lord. You know my heart. I got to stop by the boat. I got to take my chance. But I'm telling somebody today that it's time to stop taking a chance.
That's right.
The day is so nigh unto us that we don't know which one of us ain't going to be here tomorrow. We shaking hands today and we don't know if we'll be shaking hands with the same one tomorrow. I know Pastor Van is a witness that he could preach to a house full of the day, and next week it might be 2 or 3 in a congregation. I know that sometimes you've been a witness to a family member you just seen and hugged and talked to and sat down and had a glass of Kool-Aid with them. You did that on Monday, and on Tuesday you said, well, I just talked to him yesterday. But there was no longer in the equation the day after. Because that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants to keep us living in yesterday. If I can keep your mind on yesterday, you won't see what God got for you today. Your blessings is the beholder. God said, my eyes is in every place, beholding the good and the evil. So now I'm here to tell somebody that yes, the Lord knows your heart. That ain't what you want him to know. You don't want him to know your heart. Because when you tell me to know, he knows your heart. He knows you don't know. And he said, without love, you might as well forget doing the stuff. Ain't no need to feed the hungry if you don't love. Because that ain't nothing but an act of good. But it takes more than good than just. It takes a change on the inside that will show up on the outside in order for you to get into heaven. Your mind has to totally be changed. You can't be. The Bible says it this way. It says, "Be not. You got to be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You can't have the same mind in the world that you had, that you got now. You confessing that He's your Father. The difference is, I walked out of my flesh into a spirit life. Therefore, you can't see that old man that was on me no more. Because my clapping in my hand ain't the same. The dancing in my feet is the same. Somebody has not changed the music that they listen to. That's why your dance is still the same. If you used to be a stepper, and you ain't Christ in your music, you still a stepper.